Hello and welcome. After years of relentless violence, mass abductions, and fear gripping parts of the country, Nigeria, well, you could say, is finally reclaiming control over its security. That's according to National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu. Speaking at the midterm assessment town hall meeting organized by the Sir Ahmadu Bello Foundation in Kaduna State earlier in the week, Ribadu declared that Nigeria is undeniably safer than it was 2 years ago. He pointed to major reductions in Boko Haram attacks, banditry, and communal violence, especially in the northern region of the country, attributing this turnaround to President Bola Tinubu's directive for a unified, disciplined approach to national security, one he says that is now yielding tangible results. Ribadu also disclosed that security forces have neutralized over 300 bandit kingpins and rescued 12,100 hostages held by criminal gangs. Additionally, more than 14,000 illegal firearms have been recovered and destroyed in an effort to reduce the circulation of weapons among non-state actors. He says operations across Zamfara, Kaduna, and Katsina states have led to the dismantling of several notorious armed groups. He also addressed concerns about the administration's early response, describing what some saw as inaction as a period of, quote, tactical silence necessary to develop effective, lasting solutions. Well, joining me now to discuss all of this is Dennis Amakari, who is a former Assistant Director, Department of State Services, and also a security consultant. He joins us from Texas. All right, sir. So you listened to Ribadu, all that he said. What do you think?
Thank you very much for having me. What Ribadu said is looking at some statistics. He's looking at some statistics, and apparently there are many statistics. In fact, it shows also that security challenges remain a main problem in the country. It's difficult to access the drastic reduction that he's talking about. But when you look at it, banditry from 2003 to 2005, have remained high. Maybe it went down maybe by some numbers. But the point is that Nigerians are still dying. And although the security agencies are trying, they are doing their best, we are still losing people. Even if it is one person that is being killed, I think we're losing people. And that is what we, as a country, should try and see if we can reduce it to the barest minimum.
I mean, he talked about the neutralization of bandit kingpins now, 300 of them. And almost every, probably once every 2 weeks, the Nigerian military, of course, calls a press conference where it wheels out figures of bandits neutralized and terrorists neutralized and all of that. But, in spite of these numbers, we still continue to have incidents. The question you ask is, does it mean these bad guys don't, it's like, you just can't eliminate them completely because, the more the military says it neutralizes a huge number, then you still continue to hear or see incidents of banditry and all of that. So what's going on? Is it that they have, I don't know how to put this now, their pool, they have this wide pool where they get their recruits from and it never dries up? I'm talking about the bandits.
Yes, you find out that it is very correct. And of course, what we as security people are looking at very closely is the number of engagements that we are having with them. Last year, or should I say during the last administration, I don't think the gusto was so much where the military and even the police or the DSS was attacking and then, of course, getting the numbers down. But right now, I think they've been able to put some of these bandits on the run. where a lot of them has been decimated. And then, of course, you saw the press conferences that are coming. There is a large pool, and that's why I'm saying that even if it is one Nigerian that they killed or two, the problem still remains because we cannot continue losing our people. And why are we continuing to lose people? Is because the root causes of this problem are still with us. The root causes are still there. People are vulnerable, school children are vulnerable, rural communities are prime targets with notable incidents, that are happening. So I think what they should do, besides bringing it to the barest minimum, we should try and see whether we can eliminate this case of banditry and terrorism in our country.
One strategy that I have noticed that, the National Security Advisor and, of course, the defense chiefs have been deploying is that they are going after the leadership of these bandits. And that's why he said, for instance, that they've killed about 300 of them. What's actually behind this strategy? And do you think it's a strategy that in the long term could have a positive impact in bringing down?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. When there is a leader, the people are very excited and they take their strength from the leader. And when we have people like Shekarau in Boko Haram or DEJI among the bandits, DEJI has been, giving them all the motivations they need, and then, of course, taking care of them, and they are ready to fight and then kill themselves or get killed. So when the leaders, I think the strategy of going for the leaders, I think is a very good one. And of course, if they can take out those leaders, then of course, what do we say? Like they say, you cut off the head, and then of course the body goes dead. But if the head is still around, then the body will still be, even if it has to crawl, will continue. So I think it's a very good strategy to take out the leaders and then, of course, see whether they will scatter or surrender or even run back to the Sahel where they come from.
And it's good that you talked about Bello Turji. Up till this moment, the military has not been able to get him. And, he's a priority target for the military. There's no doubt about it. And his group continues to wreak havoc, especially in the northwest of the country. How important do you think it is to get Bello Turji, bring him down or bring him to face justice? And why do you think it's become so difficult to get him? Because he seems to be the major bandit leader now who has continued to elude arrest or, the military operation.
Yes. Bello Turji has been a very significant figure when we come to the banditry situation. Because of his links in government, links among Nigerians, and, it's Bello Turji that was banned sometime because he has been around, and because of what he's doing, some of these communities were even paying taxes to him, and of course, when I talk to some of my colleagues in the security services, they are all in agreement that, well, to get Bello Turji is one task that must be done. And of course, he's been around. Like I said, they banned him once. His boys are going to markets. Some religious leaders have been talking with him, but he's been creating havoc and been giving people a lot of nightmares. So I think being a target, and I think the military and the security agencies are, really having him as a priority. And if they take him out, then that group that follows him are going to also scatter.
We also know that not quite long ago, he spoke about, the need for peace and all of that, and was talking up some kind of deal between himself and the military or the government. If it becomes so difficult to catch, would it be out of place for, some kind of deal now that will see him, because that is something that quite a number, even he has made that suggestion as well. Should we be looking at a deal that could probably bring him in so that he gives up banditry, gives up his arms and everything, and then for some kind of amnesty, like we're seeing in Kaduna, for instance?
Yes. The thing is this: there are many options open to government and security agencies in dealing with this kind of situation. I'm not for any kind of dialogue with them because, see, these are criminals. We're talking of amnesty, yes. We had it in the Niger Delta. And then, of course, the case of Niger Delta is totally different from what we are having up in the north. Now, these are bandits. And these bandits who came, how they managed to came into Nigeria, or should I say how they were brought into Nigeria, because the information is not secret anymore. And when they were brought in and the agreements were not met anymore, and that's why they turned into bandits. And of course, they've been going around killing people in Kaduna State for one. There has been some kind of dialogue. And from that dialogue, it has turned back into business as usual and stuff like that. Well, considering the situation that has happened, if they have to have dialogue with them, it has to come with some kind of strong agreements. Because like I said, they've had dialogue with these people before, which were not respected later. So if they want to do dialogue, if they want to go that route, it's okay. But I think they have to take them on a very tight rope, because a bandit is a bandit. A bandit is a criminal, and there is no dialogue with him because there is no objective, or there, should I say, something that he wants to do that the country can also be sympathetic to, So this is the particular situation we have here.
One last question for you, sir. Look, the Tinubu administration has invested significantly on security. I mean, you look at the budget provision for defense. Defense actually has the highest in the budget this year. So defense spending has really gone up significantly. But when you look at the results over the past 2 years, would you say that the results have been commensurate to the spending that we've seen?
We have a very complex situation there. Complex situation in the sense that if all the monies that was spent on security was used for security, then, of course, there will be serious positive outcome whereby we will have good results. But multifaceted in the sense that, number one, when the budget, you said that the defense budget is the highest. Yes, but how many actually go to the military? How many actually go to the police or to the DSS, the NIA, the security agencies? It's not enough. And then, of course, with the volatile nature of the naira to the dollar, it becomes even more complicated. Because now when you look at it, how much is that budget? Now, how much are the armaments that we're buying? We don't manufacture these things in Nigeria. So if you want to buy a drone, for instance, a good Predator drone is about $10 million. And then, of course, convert it. How many are you going to get? Let's say we buy 10. if we buy 10 and then, of course, convert it again to the current value of the naira, and then you find out that we cannot really spend much, because if we buy 10 drones, that is going to cost us, how much?
Billions.
And then, of course, there are other things that are supposed to be done. The military, the Air Force. The Air Force will want helicopters, they want fighter jets and stuff like that. And these things are very expensive. They are not off the shelf. And that is where we have the problem. And then, of course, add corruption to it, where some of this money is being stolen. There are people who are trying to compromise themselves. We have some military generals in jail right now, and then, of course, we have some other people that are trying to fritter the money into their private pockets. So it's complicated, like I said, and that defense budget is a drop. It's a drop in the ocean, because the whole defense budget we're talking about is not up to the budget of the New York Police Department.
I can't argue with you, honestly. I really can't argue with you. Mr. Dennis Amakri, thank you very much for coming on the program and sharing your time with us. We really appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. I will take a short break.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI 360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians are saying in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI 360, dissecting the issues.